What's up everyone? So today I'm going to respond to the "what about all the animals who die for your vegan food" argument that seems to be all too popular at the moment now that people have gotten bored of the "where do you get your protein" argument and moved on to something that they find vegans have a harder time answering. And that's exactly why I think they're asking this so much. Because it's like people have found this Achilles heel of veganism that they feel makes our position weaker. Now first I want to say that it absolutely is true that vegans still cause harm, as we all do merely by existing in this harmful world. In crop harvesting, many insects are killed either by pesticides or by machinery, as are some small animals or larger animals shot by farmers to protect their crops. But in any case, this as an argument to justify animal farming is bad nonetheless, and I'm going to give 4 different responses to this argument that you can use. Okay, so first of all is that there is a huge difference between intentional and unintentional harm. To insinuate that veganism is morally the same as non-veganism because vegans demand a product that does not inherently involve violence, while non-vegans demand products that absolutely must demand either violence or exploitation of some kind is absurd. Any rational person should be able to see that there is a very clear moral distinction between this and this. It's just not fair to compare collateral damage to intentionally violating someone else's life and body like that. Hell, this is self-explanatory. Ask any person what they'd rather watch out of either 20 minutes of broccoli farm footage or just 5 minutes of slaughterhouse footage. People clearly know one is worse than the other. And even with the idea of farmers shooting animals to protect their crops, once again, vegans don't want that to happen. They don't want any violent practices to take place in crop farming, and they don't know what harm has been caused behind each strawberry or carrot they eat. Meanwhile, non-vegans directly pay a slaughterman to stab someone in the throat for them, or a chicken farmer to breed slavery victims into existence to serve as egg-laying machines for them before they too are disposed of like rubbish in a slaughterhouse. I'll repeat what I always say. Veganism isn't perfect, but it's a million miles closer to perfect than carnism is. Okay, so number 2 is that veganism actually minimises the number of crop deaths you're responsible for. That's right. If crop harvesting deaths are a concern of yours, which they're actually not if you're just someone trying to catch vegans out by using this argument against vegans, seeing as you fund the bacon industry and thus don't care about crop deaths, then go vegan. The reason for this is that it takes around 10 times more crops to feed the average non-vegan than the average vegan, due to all the copious amounts of crops used to raise the 60 billion or so land animals massacred every year, and many of the billions of farmed marine animals as well. Add to that the fact that animal agriculture is the leading cause of deforestation, which kills countless species every single second, and carnism is the ultimate way to maximise plant-related killings. So once again, veganism isn't perfect, but it's closer to it than carnism is. While non-vegans who are aware of what goes on are essentially causing the maximum harm possible, vegans are actually trying to reduce their harm to sentient beings. Why would you even want to argue with this? A great observation I heard Gary Yourofsky make, and this goes back to point 1 about intent, is that when he harvests the veg he grows in his garden, he's making sure to get all the little critters out before he washes the veg so he doesn't harm them. So even though his lifestyle causes some harm, at least he's trying. Meanwhile, a non-vegan will go into a fancy restaurant and order like a lobster stuffed inside a duck, stuffed inside a fucking goose, with the lactations and ovulations of some other murdered animals smothered on top of it. It's like they're trying to cause the maximum harm they possibly can. I also want to add here that the number of rodents and small mammals killed in crop harvesting for a plant-based diet is greatly exaggerated by non-vegans. The idea of a big noisy combine harvester slowly moving its way towards a rabbit or a vole and them just staying there without being run over sounds like a bit of a fantasy scenario. and actually kind of reminds me of that scene from Austin Powers where Dr. Evil's henchman gets run over.
Careful, Austin! Watch out! Watch out!
Okay, so here's an angle that I don't hear many people use, but we should definitely use it more. And that is that the farms of the world are pretty much all run by non-vegans. So anything to do with crop harvesting currently is going to have some kind of animal harm involved in it, because of this fucked up carnist world we live in that vegans are actually trying to change. You think if we ran the farms of the world we'd be smothering crops with pesticide or shooting deers or beating orangutans with clubs? Hell no. These people would be penalised legally, and we'd be actively working at switching to minimal harm systems like vertical farming, which would massively reduce or even eliminate harm to animals and insects. So please don't blame vegans for the current carnist crop farming system we have, in a world where vegans are a tiny minority who are not yet powerful enough to change this. Okay, so number 4 is that a certain amount of harm will inevitably be caused in order to maintain civilization. What I mean by this is that whatever we do as humans to even build a half decent and functioning society, there will unfortunately be collateral damage as a result of that. For example, we support the construction industry and the transport industry, despite both of these inevitably resulting in many horrific deaths every year. To use an analogy then, telling a vegan they're the same as a non-vegan because crop harvesting kills animals would be like telling someone who lives in a house that they are as bad as someone who pays a hitman to regularly kill people, because the construction industry results in guaranteed deaths every year. Absurd, right? I needn't say more on this argument. Thanks everyone, please drop a comment below if you have any other angles that we can attack this argument from, and please subscribe to the channel. I really need this channel to grow, and please like and share the video if you found it effective. If you want to support me so that I can make high quality videos debunking carnist arguments more frequently, please go to my Patreon where you can do so and be a key contributor in growing this channel. Thanks so much everyone.